South Africans have a date for local government elections after weeks of court action. The Minister of Cooperative Governance, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, has announced that the polls will take place on the 1st of November. This comes after the IEC filed papers in the Constitutional Court to postpone the 2021 local government elections, which were planned for the 27th of October this year. And to get reaction on this, we're joined by Planet Senior Program Coordinator Mike Makwela and Community Facilitator in Nkosazana. Good evening to you both, and thank you so much for your time. I'm sure our viewers are wondering which Nkosazana is this one. They're probably waiting to see one of my colleagues, but thank you so much to you both for coming through this evening. Dada Mike, I'm going to begin with you. When we look at, the audit outcomes of the Auditor General year in, year out, it looks like things are regressing. There was a point where we were finding ourselves with a bit more of some clean audits, but now things are regressing. Talk to us then about what appears to be at the heart of this. Does it look like some of the preventative measures are working?
Well, thank you for inviting us here in this show. It's indeed a very interesting show. Let me start by saying the Auditor General's report provides a very dim view of the state of local government in our country. Year in and year out, as you correctly say, the finances, the public funds for that matter, the municipalities are struggling to account for them. And that is very, very worrisome. It looks like, as you correctly say, the measures that have been put in place are not doing it. Okay, so there's a big challenge about the state of affairs of our municipalities. In fact, they are in ICU. They are really in crisis. Just 2-3 days ago, the Auditor General in Parliament said that majority, a large number of our municipalities actually don't have their own source of income. They depend on the grants from national. So that's very worrisome. It means if we're to stop the grants today, most of the municipalities will fall flat.
And one of the other things that's concerning when you keep listening every year, and this is not a new problem, to be honest, is that a number of officials that are put there don't seem to have an understanding of even some of the financials and even the work that is required of them, and thus having to rely on outsourcing such services through consultants. And that means then we may not be having people in the right positions.
Well, the former Minister of Public Administration did allude to the fact that 39%, that's numbers of officials that are either not placed in correct position, or they don't have the necessary qualifications to occupy those positions. So that alone tells you that we've got wrong people at the wrong positions. And absolutely no way that you can have a turnaround in the functioning of municipalities. And that's where we need to start. We need to make sure that we've got new pair of hands and warm bodies that are able to drive our new administration in the coming local government elections. So that's very concerning.
Mpo, you are at community level, and half the time when we have these conversations, we're having them at high level. We're talking about what we, talking about tonight, issues around controls, preventative measures, and all of that. Let's talk about you at a community level, where you are. What has been the experience with, local government for you? Is it working?
Hi, viewers. Mina ngumpho kanje i-local government ayisizi kakhulu, especially nasizobona i-IDP. I-IDP include singama informal settlement amaningi, and nabazoyibiza bayibiza sebayidraftile, asazi simi phakathi ukuthi idrafta kuphi kanjani. So these are the things that ekumele sizazi ukuze zikwazi ukuthi zenzeke.
And umukhuluma before uqhubeka, umukhuluma nge-IDP, umuntu obukile namhlanje uyazibuza ukuthi ukhuluma ngani.
I-IDP it's whereby thina i-local government isisetela i-budget yethu. Ngakhuluma example njengabasezindlini banokukhalela i-drat. Beyangena i-budget yabo ye-drat per ward. Nayingenile sesiyakwazi ukubona ukuthi ithuthukane street iphumile, example eNtsakane, ithuthukane street iphumile iyayenzwa, iyenzwa ngesikhathi esingakanani, because these things zihamba ngani ngama phases kwesinye isikhathi, because i-IDP if you don't understand it singabantu bomphakathi angeke sikwazi ukuthi siqhubekele phambili sizosoloko silwisana nama-councillors for us ukuthi sithole i-service delivery whereby we have to understand i-IDP kuqala.
So IDP, is this the integrated development, planning program that includes, local government so that you understand what's going on? And before I bring you back into this conversation, I'd like to just also translate for some of the viewers that may not have understood what you're saying. So what Mpo is saying is that residents also need to understand the IDP, and that is the integrated development planning. And this is meant to assist in terms of, service delivery and what communities really know, as the power that they have in their hands. And she says that it's not helping. They need to also include people at a consultative level, because she says that when they come to them, they would have drafted all of this without the input of those that are at the heart of this. Now, Ntate Makwela, one of the things that has really been quite problematic has been the fact that every year we appear to be lamenting the millions, billions that are missing and that are really never either accounted for. It's either in irregular spending, it's either nobody knows where they went to, but it doesn't look like there are consequences and serious decisive action to deal with the culprits.
Absolutely, yes, you're correct. The lack of consequences, action, creates an impression that you can do as you wish in government. The mayor will not be fired, the municipal manager will not be fired, the CFO will not be fired, the top management will not be fired. Year in and year out, your municipality received a disclaimer, but nothing really happens. And what we need to see as citizens, it's people going to court, being charged, being arrested. And that will satisfy us, because what is the point of really of the Auditor General, year in and year out, giving us this dire situation in municipalities, and then nothing happens, So that's very worrisome. And it was only when communities have mobilized themselves and actually hold government accountable. It is within their rights. It's their constitutional rights to say, hang on for a second, you came during the elections, you promised us heaven and earth, but you're unable to deliver. So we're holding you accountable. And if it means we need to sign a petition or litigate, so be it, because there must be action.
Mpho, mawubheka wena sihlale sizwa ngeimali esingazi ukuthi ziyaphi kahle kahle. Ezinye zazo either ziba kuma tender, ezinye sitshelwa ukuthi zispendwa kuma consultants. You are a resident. Ikwenza uzizwe kanjani lento mawubheka?
Ingenza ngizive kabuhlungu, because nangayenza example ngami, thina sihlala kuma informal settlement. Ama-informal settlement are never recognized in South Africa. Not only in Ekurhuleni, but in South Africa. We are never recognized. Sihlaliswe emikhukhwini sithenjiswa ukuthi sizochiftwa simikise somewhere, but singamikisa ndawo. So kuba buhlungu ukuthi u-general audit nakayenza i-audit yakhe sithole ukuthi kuneyimali eyinyamalele. We question ourselves ukuthi ziyephi, because we are using chemical toilets, whereby azikho right lezo zinto for thina, especially abantu besifazane.
So la uhlala khona nisebenzisa ama-chemical toilets?
We are using chemical toilets. Itrata sinazo njengakunimvula kanje siyasogola ukuhamba eitrateni. Those ngapha ama-chemical toilets ayasigulisa. Ngapha asazi ukuthi siyaphi. You are being promised i-mega project, abo John Dube, these mega city projects. They don't even explain kubantu ukuthi these projects ayoba kanjani, uyohlala kuyo ngasiphi isikhathi. Because kubuhlungu ukuthi ngina more than a railway example in extension 19 railway community ngibuya kuyo. Sina more than 25 years to 30 years sihlala kuleya ndawo. Asinakwa nokunakwa. Kunabantu on another side ababuilda ithabathaba zezindlu, because we don't have that 60,000 or 80,000. Kusho kona ukuthi thina emkhukhwini asinakwa.
So laba abakhi ithabathaba abantu bakuphi lo mhlaba bayawuthenga or kwenzakalani?
Ayikho answer etholakalayo ukuthi umhlaba uthengwa kubani kanjani, because when you ask councillors they don't know. When you ask Tsakane Triple C, they say they don't know. You ask Duduza Triple C, they say they don't know. Those are Triple Cs that we use.
Ngisho umhlaba
lo. Umhlaba useTsakane.
Okay.
Nasubuza, they say it's provincial owned. njengobramike bekakhuluma ukuthi sibhala ama-petition kukumanje siyi-railway sibhala i-petition because we are sick and tired of staying in that area, not knowing where are we going. We don't have electricity. Sinabantwana abafunda umatric, sinabantwana kumele bageze, kumele umuntu abhale uzolayita kanjani ngekhandlela. How are you going to survive ngekhandlela? Because ikhandlela liyasitshisela futhi yona le mikhukhu noma sireporta akekho umuntu ozayazi usisiza.
And if I can translate briefly what Umpo is saying there is that, there's a lot of challenges that they're facing in informal settlements, and they're finding themselves feeling like they're not being recognized as they live in these informal settlements. And she, is very unhappy about that, and also saying that they are using chemical toilets and there are no roads, and she says chemical toilets are not good. I mean, you can imagine as a woman having to use chemical toilets, and she says there's also projects like a mega projects that they are then promised to be benefiting some of the community members there, but she says that unfortunately they don't even know how these are going to work. And she says that there's land not very far from where they stay that is seeing some major developments. People are, building houses there, but there's no answer as to where they are going in order to purchase this land, because she says that they don't even have the money to be able then to buy some of these, the land in order to build. And she says that they've got children that some of them are in matric this year, and they have to study using candles, and that in and itself poses a danger, because, I mean, the dangers of candles, I don't have to tell you, as you would have seen in different informal settlements, where one could even cause a fire that, can ravage through a number of, shacks there. Now, pardon me, umubheka kuma municipalities kunento abayibiza ama projects wama indigents for abantu abangakwazi ukukhokha in order for them to be able to still be part of the system. Niyayithola i-access yaleyo information ukuthi nazi ukuthi indaba zama indigent policies zisebenza kanjani, nani nizokwazi ukuthi mhlambe nibheke ukuthi niyaqualify ukuba lapho noma kukhona abanye enhlala nabo abakwazi ukuqualify.
Nasifika kule indigent nasihlele emavaheni thina or ku informal settlement imitshontshombe.
I learned a new word tonight.
Yes. So nasihleli lapho umasipala gives you a piece of paper to say that hlala la temporary, I will come back to you ngesikhathi esinje, whereby you wait for 20 to 25 years or more than 30 years, whereby agezi azogcwalisisa isubsidy. Into esizikhalelayo sidinga ama-subsidy, sizazi ukuthi njengasihleli la nangiphuma after these 5 years or 10 years ngiyakuphi. While I'm sitting here angibe ne-toilet eflashayo, ngibe umuntu nami ngoba nakuvutwa ngumuntu, angibe ne-strat esi-right, angibe nogesi, angibe nawo wonke ama-services atholwa uwonke umuntu ezindlini, because nakuqala kuvota they know us, bayayazi imitshotshomba yethu ukuthi bazokokota khona. Kodwa nasekuphelile ama-election no one knows us, we are left alone. Even municipality now uthi uyaya kuyo ukutshela ukuthi no nina, because example ngifuna i-dustbin, awuna address. Nangana address uthi ngithathe kuwe muntu wakamasipala we-housing engikuqelayo ukuthi ngicela address, uzongitshela ukuthi umhlaba so wami. If umhlaba aso wethu u-ownwa ubani, example the land I'm staying in, it's owned by provincial government. So ngizomazela mina province if angazi information. Manje njengompho, I know how to Google things, I know how to go. Njenge-Plan Act sisize kakhulu ngokuthi ikwazi ukusihlanganisa siyimiphakathi and teach us how to knock in the municipality doors, because esikhathini samanje we are in a democratic place. We don't have to fight isichisa amatayera njengakuqala. We negotiate with municipality. Uzokuzwa ngoba nayo umuntu.
Bayanizwa ama negotiator nabo.
So far in my place I have a good relationship with water and sanitation. I have got good relationship with Department of Waste. So far now I'm trying to make a good relationship with Department of Human Settlement, because they are the only ones that are left, and they forget their positions, because as a housing department you are supposed to know ukuthi umuntu istrat sakhe si right, umuntu sebenzisa yiphi toilet. So the housing department is failing us. Really, as informal settlement, they are really failing us because they are slow. There's nothing. They don't even give us subsidy. They don't give us houses. They don't even give us land. Just service stands. Because all that we are asking for is service stands. Because if you are saying because someone is getting 3,500 upwards, that's when you are going to give him a service stance. What about me that I don't have money? What about me? What about me? Because I need a house. Umkhuka uko right. Nakubandu uyabanda. Nakushisa uyashisa. Nakunimvula ngiyanethelwa. Mele ngibeke izitsha ngibeke it's not fair. Asingabantu. Yazi ngike ngicabange ngike sike sikhulume siyimiphakathi sithi gayi1 sike sikhalela ukuthi sike sicela ukhanselo oyi1 akazolala lapha ya emkhukhwini akezwe ukuthi le pain esizwayo thina nakunimvula kunjani or yena we housing department or yena uMMC ulindiwe Sisulu or Lisiba Mpayi bake beze emkhukhwini bahlale khona bake beve because umuntu uyakhohlwa nakaku position ukuthi naye usuka la ngibuya khona. Because nangu position, example ngiba ikhansela namhlanje, I will make sure that my people get the best service because ngiyazazi ukuthi ngibuyaphi.
All right. We're out of time, but very briefly, Ndate Makwela, you're listening to what Mpho has said, and I'll translate in just a moment. Some of what she's saying is that really they know us when they want our votes, but not in between, as you know, we need access to services. She does mention for her some of the services that appear to be working, and not everything is lost for this particular community. Is this the sentiment you are observing as Planet when it comes to the country? Are some people feeling disenfranchised?
Absolutely correct, because, you know, when you put your power, which is your vote, there are certain expectations. Okay, so one is that communities must mobilize themselves, and it's important that communities speak with one voice. But the second thing that needs to happen is that there must be a relationship and a collaboration between the state and its citizens. As of now, that trust is breaking apart. So what Mpho is saying is correct. You know, it's the feeling that you pick up across the country, that there's this feeling that it is us and them. You know, when communities go and engage with the state, they say, give, give, give. And when the state engages with citizens, they say, what can we give them to keep quiet? Okay, so this relationship is quite complex and very difficult to manage. However, it is correct that, that it is important that, unfortunately, I'm a voter. Unfortunately, I am a citizen of this country. And when I put my vote, it's because you had promised to do something. Okay, so let's meet each other halfway.
Yeah.
So it's important that we, government reacts very quickly to the needs of communities. That's the reality that we're facing in this country.
Let me thank you both for your time. And it's not, you know, given what you've just said, Mpho, it doesn't look like it's going to be the last time we speak. And we are also going to be trying to reach the municipality at some point in order to get their side to understand what exactly is going on here. And maybe we might even get you back for that conversation. And some of what Mpho was saying is that, you know, they're given papers to say that be here for a little while and then we'll come back, move you then to another place where you can get access to services, talking about issues of not being able to get something as simple as a rubbish bin because you don't have an address and they're not then able to get access to that. And, you know, she talks about how water and sanitation is a department that is working very closely with them, and they are then looking to human settlements now in order for them to be able to get some kind of accommodation, because she says that the land that they are in belongs to the provincial government, and certainly this is a conversation and some of the cries that we are going to, you know, look towards as we inch closer then to the election. That was Planet Senior Program Coordinator Mike Makwela and Community Facilitator in Tsakane Mpho Sithole.